find my daughter laid on a stretcher, covered with some pink shit, like blanket-ish. And I just pulled it out. And oh my God, it still wasn't real. I touched her from head to toe, everywhere. I just wanted to take off her clothes. Like, I was hitting her cheeks. I'm like, wake up. Don't do this, wake up. But she had foam in her nose. She was gone. She wasn't there. I stayed there for a while. I talked to her. I checked her toes. I checked her fingers. I rubbed her hair. She had a lot of hair. Very thick, long, dark hair. I put my hands in her head. You know, I pulled her head up. I hugged her. I asked God to raise her for me. You know, I was like, you know, people are afraid of the dead. But God, if you raise this girl for me, I will not even run away like people do. I'll stay right here because you'll have given me that which I've asked for. But that never happened. Well, in the hospital, the doctor said they received a body. They received a body. So whatever happened to her, they have no record of medical treatment or anything. They just received a body. So they just wrote a notification. According to the school, she was alive. That Saturday morning.
When they were taking her to the hospital.
So probably, according to them, probably the distance, the drive from the school to the hospital, somewhere huko katikati ndiye alikatikia. My daughter was hated in Gatanga CCM for being who she was. They never believed that she was a Jamaican for real. And she was. I don't know, they expected her to look some type of way. Or maybe they didn't think beyond there is intermarriages in this country.
Welcome to today's episode of Tales of Wanjiku. So I'm standing outside a restaurant named after Ebbie, a girl that we will all remember died almost 3 years ago at CCM Gatanga School. The administration claimed she just slept and did not wake up. But 3 government pathologists released an autopsy saying she died of a blunt object. Aligongwa na kitu hapa kwa kichwa. The mom says she wants answers. And still, 3 years later, nothing much has been done. So she's about to share with us her story. Karibuni sana, tusikize story ya Mama Ebbie and get to understand all the details. Hodi! Hey! Hi! How are you?
Good to see you, Mama.
You are good?
Yes. My name is Wanjiku Samuels. I am a mother. I am a wife. I have 3 children. My firstborn got her wings in 2019. My secondborn is a boy. He's in Form 1. And my lastborn is in PP1.
Yeah.
She's 5 years old. Yeah.
I understand the story you're about to share with our audience is not the easiest.
No.
But I want you to know, as I was telling you earlier, it's okay to be brave and soft at the same time. Sindio?
Sure.
And I feel honored that we are sitting here in this space named after your daughter. And I hope even as this episode airs, someone will be convicted, someone will be convinced, and justice will be done.
Yeah.
So just take us through the story.
Today is the 6th.
Yes.
Saturday. Yeah. So 7th Sunday, Monday 8th, Tuesday 9th will mark the day when my daughter passed away.
Yeah.
So 3 years now. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's not been an easy journey because her death changed the trajectory of my life, literally. To remember 3 years ago, 2019, on February 25th, on a Monday at 2 o'clock. That 25th was my birthday. It's the last time I saw my daughter alive, because it's the day I took her back to school after a midterm break of 10 days.
Yeah.
And so you can imagine the years after, my birthday has not been a big deal, to be honest. Because anytime it's my birthday, I remember this is the day I took my daughter to school, and I never saw her again, because literally 2 weeks after that, she was not there. She was no more. It started on 9th in the morning. I was scheduled for an assignment.
Yeah.
At that time, I was working in a church environment. I was working in Nairobi Chapel. And my then boss had given me an assignment in the social justice department as an admin and a field officer. That's where I was working. And we had a safe house in Dumboine, where there were some girls who had been rescued from some environments that were not good for them at that time. Some of them had children, you know, alcoholic homes, forced marriages and stuff like that. So we were actually moving houses for them. And I was the one who was conducting that move that 9th in the morning. So I woke up to find my phone off. So of course in panic mode, because we had agreed with the transport guy that we were going to meet at 7. Unfortunately, my phone had gone off at night. So I woke up and I switched on my phone really quick. Turn it on, you know, like almost immediately. And the phone shows me it's past 8 o'clock. And I'm going, Jesus. And then, so I get off bed and want to get ready to leave. And a message streams in. So I'm thinking she's the one. So let me just check what she's saying. Then I let her know, and then I'll be out immediately.
Yes.
At that point, I'm even calling an Uber guy. And then I found it was a message from, the number of the principal of then Gatanga CCM.
CCM Gatanga.
CCM Gatanga, who had sent me a message. And this is what the message said: come to Naidu Hospital now. Shortly after that, a please call me message from the same number. And so I call. First, I do not know what Naidu Hospital is. For a moment there, I'm thinking, but ini namba ya principal, wale watu wa Naivasha prison wamenifikia, you know. But I'm like, wait a minute. So I called. When I called, she asked me, why are you switching off your phones? Why are you switching off your phone? We've been trying to reach you. So I told her, sorry, my phone had gone off. There was a power outage that night. That's why, you know, it never charged up. So I tell her my phone had gone off, but here I am. How can I help you? And then she tells me, can you come to Naidu Hospital right now? So I asked, what is the problem? And she tells me my daughter is unwell, but kuja tu. Then she hangs up. And then after a while, she calls again. This is her number, but she's not the one talking on the phone. The one talking on the phone is the deputy principal, using the principal's number. So she calls again and she asks me, the second time is the deputy principal now speaking, not the principal.
The first time?
The first time was the principal asking me, why did I switch off my phone?
The second time?
The second time is the principal, but the same number.
Deputy principal?
The deputy, yes. She's called Virginia Kamau. So she calls me, that's the principal's Virginia Kamau. So she tells me, are you able to get here? Like, how long will you take to get here? And I'm like, so I told her, I'm just about to leave. And then the principal tells me now on the phone, same phone, the two of them. The principal now tells me, can you come with someone? At this point, now there's too much coming my way that I'm not even having a chance to process. So I respond to. So I said yes.
I'm sensing some really weird energy about the tone.
Yes.
The way they are talking to you. How would you describe the tone?
It was very flat. It was emotionless. It's like the way you can ask me, where can I buy tissue paper? And then I tell you there's a shop there. You know, it's just for your information, kind of a tone.
Yeah.
So I tell her, yes, I can come with someone. So I immediately called my neighbor, who I had gone with for admission to admit Ebbie to school. Day 1, January 15th, 2019. We drove the 3 of us to the school. So I call her and I ask her, hey, she's called Kelai. I tell her, Kelai, are you home? She says, yes. Are you able to take me somewhere? What is it? Then I tell her what had happened. She tells me, I'll be by your door in the next very few minutes. Just come downstairs, because we live in the same space, the same estate. So she comes, and I finds me at the entrance, and we drive off. While at the gate, I get a call from the he was the current head of school at that time for Logos Christian School. He's called Mr. Moai. And he asked me, Mama Ebbie, where are you? I tell him, I'm at the gate, I'm actually leaving, got a call from the school. They're telling me Ebbie is unwell. So he tells me, yes, they have also called me. And I'm like, eh? So I thought probably when they couldn't reach me, they went through her file.
Yes. And
because
so
the release letter from her primary school, he's the one who signed and stamped and put his number on it. So they got that record. So they called him. And I tell him, I'm at the gate, I'm leaving. He tells me some information, what they had told him that they never told me. So I had asked the principal, can I talk to my daughter? And then she told me, no, she's being taken. No, the deputy is the one who told me she's being taken to the hospital. So you just come meet them at the hospital. In my mind, my child has never been sick. I'm thinking maybe the environment, baridi, ya Murang'a. So probably, worst case scenario, I'll find her in the ICU. By the way, in my heart, I'm not worried. As I'm going to that school, I am not worried. I'm like, Ntampata hosi, whatever it is, we will deal. You know? So we drive off. Waiyakiwe, we go. While we are going, I call my boss now to notify her that I will not be able to go for this assignment because this has happened. And she was coming from Ahero. They had a youth camp. So she's in Mau Summit on her way to Nairobi that morning because she had other work to do again in Nairobi. So she tells me, it's okay, you go ahead. Whatever you find there, let me know. So we proceed. My phone is off. I try charging it in my friend's car. It refuses. She charges hers. It's working. When I put the charger in my phone, it will not pick even a single, even the strike ya kuonyesha ina charge. So I leave it at that. Of course, it's frustrating because now I can't. But the last call I made, I called my husband and I texted him and I told him what I had been told, that I'm heading to school. And I also called my cousin. I have a cousin who lives in Thika. So I call her and I tell her, this is what I have been told. Could you please reach this particular hospital and check my daughter for me? Because I'm on my way, you're nearer. So she tells me, sure. And then now I'm easy. Thika Road, there was no traffic. We went very well. We reached that place and we are just driving into the compound
of the hospital
now. And I see from the gate in, I take note of the principal's face because I know I interacted with her on several occasions. I see she's seated outside, sitting on some pillar or some stone, a round thing in front of the hospital. And she's accompanied by a group of people, like 5 people. And she sat with her feet straight on like that. So I tell my friend, why are these people sitting outside like this? All along, she's been telling me, just calm down, everything's gonna be fine. She still tells me, relax. It could be nothing. They're probably just the doctors attending to her. So when she just put the car on brake, me, I was out of the car already. She had not even parked. And I went direct to the principal to tell her I am Mama Ebbie. And I see my cousin coming from the hospital with her brother, who is now my other cousin, because now she felt like mi sitaenda peke yangu. So she called her brother also, who lives in Makongeni. And they're the 2 of them coming off the hospital. And my cousin Mike comes and hugs me In fact, he held me by my hands like that. And then he tells me, she went to sleep. She did not wake up. Now you can imagine hearing those words. I had hope that I was going to find my daughter, even if it was in a critical condition. It was going to be fine. But being told she slept, she didn't wake up. For me, I don't know how it rang in my head. But the next thing I did, I was screaming uncontrollably. All manner of things. I don't know, I just lost my mind for a moment. It was terrible. Like it had never occurred to me that it will be that soon. So after a while, I actually told them, take me where my daughter is. I remember even the principal coming to hold me, and I wasn't listening to anybody.
Yeah.
I was just somewhere. I had left physically. My mind had traveled somewhere, I don't know where. But I was not myself. And so after a while, they took me into this room. And I find my daughter laid on a stretcher, covered with some pink shit, like blanket-ish. And I just pulled it out. And oh my God, it still wasn't real. I touched her from head to toe, everywhere. I just wanted to take off her clothes. Like, I was hitting her cheeks. I'm like, wake up. Don't do this, wake up. But she had foam in her nose. She was gone. She wasn't there. And for the first time, I smelled the smell of death so close to me that it became so real. It was a difficult moment.
Of course.
I stayed there for a while. I talked to her. I checked her toes. I checked her fingers. I rubbed her hair. She had a lot of hair. Very thick, long, dark hair. I put my hands in her head. I pulled her head up. I hugged her. I asked God to raise her for me. I was like, people are afraid of the dead. But God, if you raise this girl for me, I will not even run away like people do. I will stay right here because you'd have given me that which I've asked for. But that never happened. Stayed there, and then I asked to be left alone with her. Of course, some other people left. I said, I just want to be left alone. Why I wanted to be left alone, I don't know. I just wanted to. So I think the hospital matron or whoever that lady was told everyone to leave. And I stayed there with my friend Kelai. She's the only person I didn't want to leave me.
Yeah.
And they all left. I stayed there. I looked at my daughter. I wiped her nose. She had bit her lip like that. I pulled her lip out. And then I just covered her. I prayed. I told God, if this is how you have decided to punish me for whatever reason, I can't fight you then. Because I've asked you to raise my daughter and you haven't. So it is okay. I'll deal with it. I called my cousin Mike and told him, we need to leave. Little did I know when he had left the room, he actually went to organize for a hearse. So when I told him we need to leave, he told me the hospital doesn't have a mortuary facility. So we have to move. And he had already found a hospital, Bishop Okoye in Thika. So the hearse was already at the back of the hospital. Like everything had been arranged while I was still up there.
So they brought in the hearse.
So they brought in the hearse. The other very difficult thing was to see my child in a body bag. You know, you just hear these stories. Me, my child in a body bag. That picture, that image was very disturbing to my mind. So they put the body in a hearse. We got in the hearse, and some of the school staff who were there, I remember the senior teacher was there, the class teacher, if I'm not wrong, there were members of the board. And we drove to Bishop Okoye Hospital, took the body there. They took the body in, checked in, and then of course they called us in because they now wanted to put her in the fridge. So they called us in to remove her clothes. She was in a wrap skirt, a navy blue wrap skirt, and a pink t-shirt. Woo! So my boss had arrived by that time in the afternoon. She has already arrived. She took off her clothes and they put her in there. I couldn't find the energy to do it. She took off her clothes and they put her in the fridge. And then, of course, we hung around there for a while for whatever reason. You know, the way you just don't leave. And I noticed the principal kept going in and out, and I'm wondering. And then these morgue staff are talking to her. Mama ya huyo mtoto ni nani? I'm asking myself in my mind, why are they? Why is she? You know. And by the way, trust the Spirit of God. When you feel something, act on it immediately. Because I observed her go in and out and my spirit was not comfortable. And I told my cousin Nduta at that time, who lived in Thika, I told her, why does this lady keep going in there and taking too long? Kwani anafanya nini huko ndani? And then she told me, we tukae tu hapa. So we stood right outside the morgue big door, and we can see inside. To the left is where the fridge area is. So at least huko hakuna mtu. But kuna tu ofisi pale. You can see she's gone in from that side, and then she's, you know, she was a busybody in there, which she shouldn't have been. And that being her tough, me, nilikuwa, roho yangu imekata hiyo story. So we stayed there, we chilled. Wakamaliza mbio zao, they left. When they left, I told my friend Kelai, because we were with her still. I told her, by the way, we are moving this body to Nairobi. It's around 3-4 o'clock uko jioni, but no, I'm not leaving my child here. I don't want to come back Thika Road for this. I just want to move to one direction. So, you know, the way you just escort something with your eyes. When that hearse was reaching the gate, I noticed a random person just jump in the house. But I had already told my friend Kelai, you're escorting this vehicle back to Nairobi because me, I don't ever want to come around this place. So I want to go back to the school to pick her things and leave. I didn't feel like I needed to make another trip for the same reason. So she said, fine. She got behind the house with her car and the house drove there. So someone go in. So I quickly called her and I was like, Kwani, who is that? She's like, I don't even know, but these guys are acting weird on the road. All right? Because me, I was like, you know, we can even put the house, tuweke tu kwa gari. Like, we just lean back the seats and we go. Kwani, this is not a stranger. We'll just carry. This is my child, you know?
Allow me to pause you there, because there's something I want my audience to understand. In the hospital, what were you told happened to your daughter?
Well, in the hospital, the doctors said they received a body. They received a body. So whatever happened to her, they have no record of medical treatment or anything. They just received a body. So they just wrote a notification.
What's the school saying?
The principal was trying to convince me that my child died on the way to hospital.
What had happened to her so that they could take her to hospital?
Apparently on that Saturday morning, she did not wake up like the other girls did. So they noticed that she was missing. And then going back to the dorm, she's on the bed. And according to her, she was still alive, but difficulty breathing. on her bed. So they carried her to her car to hospital. That's exactly her story.
So mtoto alilala akakosa kuamka?
According to the school, she was alive
when they
that Saturday morning.
When they were taking her to the hospital.
So probably, according to them, probably the distance, the drive from the school to the hospital, somewhere huko katikati ndiye alikatikia.
But the hospital says they received a dead body.
Yes.
Is the school admitting by the time what is the school saying?
The school is saying they do not know, so probably, theirs is probably she died on the way. I do not know how people die, but I'm imagining that when someone dies, they just don't, unless they're in a coma, and then they just disappear in there. But if someone was alive, breathing, I'm sure you would probably even hear a sound of them akikata roho. I don't know. Maybe the medics can explain.
Did she have pre-existing conditions?
Perfectly healthy.
Not sick?
Not one.
At all?
Zero. Yeah. And this, I'm saying, not because I'm a medic, but because when the postmortem was done, the doctors, 3 government doctors in this country, confirmed perfectly healthy internal organs, everything, no trace of medication in her system, nothing, zero, perfectly healthy. Her lungs, her kidneys, her everything, her chest, clean.
The autopsy came.
She was absolutely healthy. Don't forget that the principal mentioned to me on that Friday, she ran after school. When they finish classes at 4 o'clock, they go for a marathon, probably around the school.
Yeah.
And she ran for over, I think, 10 km and came back among the top 10 girls out of like 900 girls in the school. She loved to run. She was an athlete girl.
So this is not
So new. You can imagine, if she was sick, she wouldn't have finished that marathon. She probably would have reacted immediately after, but no. She further tells me she went for preps after that marathon, went for dinner, went for preps, and after preps, did her laundry. I don't think that was a sick person.
According to you and some of the sources that you've spoken to, what did they tell you might have happened to your daughter?
They did not know. They were in shock. According to them, they did not know. No. Zero. They did not know. They had no explanation. They had no suspicion. They were just blank. Yes.
Now when you go to take Ebbie's things in school, now you're going to take her things in school. Did you get a chance to speak to any of her friends in school? Ask them questions?
No, I was not allowed to. In fact, my one request was declined. I asked the principal, just for the sake of my peace, because you guys said she did not wake up like the other girls. Can I just see where my daughter last slept? I want to see her bed. And she told me, no, you know, even when we broke the news to the girls that she had died, some of them fainted. Others, I don't know what. I told her, okay, fine. They've fainted. My daughter is dead. Can I see where she slept? Akaniambia hapana. I didn't expect that even that one request she would decline. Kabisa. Because a person of goodwill, whatever it is, if it hurt her like a parent, if it meant, it shook her spirit to some level, she would have even allowed me to see where my daughter last slept. She refused with the excuse of, oh, you know, the other girls will be distraught. But these are the same girls that were scattered all around the compound. So what was new that was going to happen that had not happened? So when she told me that I'm not allowed to see, I told her, okay, fine, I need my daughter's things. I need to leave this compound. She told me, no, you know, we were planning to even come and visit you at home. And as we bring those things, I told her, no, thank you. Just let me carry them. And so she made a call to, I don't know, the matron or somebody. And they brought my daughter's things outside to in front of the administration block. That's where I collected my daughter's things. Yes.
Anything special on the things you collected?
While we were collecting things and putting in the car boot of my boss now, we were with her.
Yeah.
I just pulled out, while the girls were bringing her things, the principal told me that one of the girls, in fact, hata huyu ndio walikuwa wanafua na yeye jana, the previous night now. So I took my daughter's uniforms, because that was a Form 1, just like my daughter. So I took her uniforms, all of them, and I gave to that girl. And I told her, this is my gift for you, thank you. I gave her that uniform. But then there was a green bucket. And this green bucket had wet clothes inside. So I asked, why do we have wet clothes in this bucket yet? These are you told me my daughter did her laundry last night. How is it that I have clothes in a bucket? And then she was like, ni kama hizo ni zile zenye, unajua asubuhi alikuwa amekojoa kwa matandiko. Which was another strange thing because my daughter never peed in bed. In my house. Never. She slept on a double decker, on the top bunker, and her brother slept on the lower bunker until we moved to where they had separate bedrooms, but never, not a single day, did she pee in bed.
I want to get something straight. So the bed that wamefua sasa, they have washed the laundry. So they are saying it's Ebbie who washed or someone else washed?
Ebbie washed. So according to her, Ebbie washed the laundry. But that girl who had brought in, helping bring her things from the dormitory, they were washing with her. Okay? Walikuwa wanaosha pamoja. So, yeah, that's the story she sold me. We just loaded our things in the car and left. And that is the last time I ever stepped foot at Gatanga CCM. The next time I wanted to go to Gatanga CCM, I spoke to the DCIO of Moranga, I think former, called Mr. Moses Mwangi. I asked him when I'd gone to issue my statement in Gatanga, I asked him if he can accompany me to the school because he told me I'm not allowed to go by myself. So if I can he can accompany me to the school because I was still feeling I really need to see where my child slept surely. If that's the only thing you can give me, some sort of closure, jameni. And he told me, I have to ask the principal. That never materialized. So we moved on. Of course, we reached the body in Montezuma. The body was put in. We traveled back and arrived at Montezuma around 8 p.m. Found my family there and people and friends, put the body in the morgue, and then of course now started the
preparations.
The most dreaded thought ever, that I'm going to bury my child, which also in between that week came with a lot of hurdles, story for another day. But of course we did an autopsy. In the presence, the autopsy was done by 3 pathologists, one a government pathologist and the others also. But one main government pathologist who had been contracted by Montezuma. And we did the autopsy, and the autopsy confirmed that my daughter died from blunt force trauma. So she had hemorrhage in her brain at was it the right cortex? At the back, like right apple. So she had been hit by a blunt object, and during the briefing after the autopsy was done, there was a question moment, and I remember one of my cousins called Faith asked, could this have been self-inflicted, or in your opinion as professionals? And the doctors adamantly said no amount of self-harm would cause this. Because the other story that was being peddled around by the police officers who were doing this investigation on the other side of Gatanga was that the school beds are triple deckers. And so the story that the girls were telling them was that anytime they wake up from their beds, they were hitting themselves on the bed because of the closeness in between the beds. And I asked this police officer a very stupid question, which to me at that point, I was just trying to pick his mind. I was like, okay, so these girls tell you they hit themselves on the head every time they wake up. Why aren't they dead? It's just my child. Why aren't they dead? Besides, I asked him, if today you are walking from this desk, he was sitting on a desk, I was sitting on the other side, and you hurt your ankle or even this part of your hand on the edge of that table, human consciousness kicks in. Any time you'll be walking by that table, you'll be keen to move your hand.
Yeah.
You can't just be, it
can't
triggers
just be
you.
waking up and
Yeah, it triggers you the next
like
moment.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you can't tell me she hit herself day 1, day 2, all the time.
How long had she been in school?
She went in on January 15th.
Yes. And
I picked her up on February 15th.
Yes.
I took her back on February 25th. And then on 9th March, she was normal.
So she was barely 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had not even enjoyed high school at all. I don't even think she experienced the beauty of high school.
Yeah.
Except maybe the torture of high school, because during the time she was in school, I don't think, from the comments I had even from part of the teachers in school, she had a good time. She came out of a school that taught confidence, respectfully, speaking up and not being timid. And now she's moved to a school where you are not allowed to be yourself. You're not allowed to ask or answer back. You are just supposed to listen and be quiet. Her English was an issue because she couldn't speak. She spoke very fluent English. So when she would speak, other girls would want to hear her speak because her English was good.
Beautiful.
Mtoto wa Nairobi. She didn't know how to speak Kikuyu, because in our household we have not spoken Kikuyu. I'm Kikuyu, my husband is not. My husband is Jamaican. They did not believe that her father was Jamaican. They never did. You know the way you go to school and you're told, tell us about yourself, fresh from once. So you say, my mom is this, my father is this, I have these brothers or these siblings. And I am this person. And they were like, what? Because the deputy principal on the day of the orientation, 15th of February, spoke in front of the parents' meeting from one orientation. There is a girl here claiming to be a Jamaican. Who can claim who they are?
Unless they are.
Why do you even question? This is a child. She's 15 years, but she's a child. Why do you question? You have questions about her character or what she's saying. You have my contacts. You have the parents' contacts. Go back and say, what are these things your child is talking about? They had all manner of complaints about her. So clearly she had been labeled. She had been profiled. She's a certain,
class.
She had a sweet tooth growing up. So clearly she had enough feelings in her mouth. In fact, on the 23rd of February, was it on a Sunday? No, on 24th of February 2019, I took her to the doctor. That is the last appointment we did in Adams, Dr. Walter, to have one of her teeth refilled. Why? Because getheri ya shule imejaa mahindi. Imejaa mawe. So she didn't like getheri because every time it would crash and the teeth are sensitive. But they didn't understand her. They interpreted that alikuwa anaringa hataki kukula getheri. They didn't understand, but why? And even the cook himself, when I was picking her up on that 15th February, saw me across the road. So I went to buy some wares from these ladies. I like to do that, to promote people. And he told me, ule mtoto ni wako? Because she was getting in the car. And then I said, yes. He told me, mwambiange anakula chakula. So I asked, kwani akulangi? Kwa nini? I told her, maybe getheri ni kwa sababu iko na mahindi. The cook told me, hiyo ni kawaida. So can you imagine if that is the norm? And here is a child who has issues with her teeth. How do you expect her to eat that kind of food? So my daughter sometimes would go with bread and water.
She was already profiled.
She was already profiled at Yanaringa. And to crown it all up, this is a deputy principal of the school speaking in front of the parents. Mimi hajawahi nipigia akaniuliza,
mtoto wako ni Jamaican.
Mtoto wako anasema hivi.
Ni ukweli.
Thank you. This is a child you have stayed with in your institution for barely a month. You imagining you know her more than I.
You're already profiling her.
Exactly.
Talk to me about the funeral.
The funeral happened on the, in Langata. We buried in Langata. For some reasons, I wasn't able to bury where I wanted to. But it went well. Of course, there is a political figure who showed up with a lot of, promises. As usual, yes, that never come to life. But you see, I wasn't keen on it, even though I really wanted and I thought that she would help. But after that, it was an answered call and responded messages. And so I moved on swiftly because I was awakened to the fact that they probably thrive on such things. So I moved on. The school never showed face.
They never came to the funeral?
Never came. Not a representative, not any class member, not her classmates, nobody. Nobody showed up. And then after the funeral, the same day after the funeral, I get a message from the school principal telling me, we are so sorry. We wished we would have come, but we respect your privacy. You did not want to see us there. I was taken aback because she never called me or spoke to me and asked me. She never texted me, except I got a strange call from someone I do not know on a Wednesday, because we buried on a Friday. On a Wednesday, I got a call from someone who claimed, that time we were going for the autopsy, that he's one of the parents from Gatanga, and he was just checking on me. I think he called himself Mr. Ndongo or Irongo, one of the two. He was just checking on me. So I was like, strange, where did you get my contact from? He said, yeah, I got it from the school office. I'm like, oh, so now the school can give people's personal numbers to people they do not know. If anything, I expected to get a call from the school principal or the deputy or even the class teacher. But that never happened. I was being called by someone who was claiming to be a parent.
Very weird.
Somebody I had not interacted with, somebody I didn't know. Don't forget, I was a new parent in this school. I did not even know a number of, I didn't even know who her friends were. You know,
or who the PTA members are.
Yeah. No. I didn't know that. You know, it takes time for you to know people.
Yeah.
And so I told this person, whoever sent you to me, tell them I am unavailable and I don't want to see them. I was going through a very difficult moment for some random person to be calling me and not really disclosing fully who they were.
Yeah.
You know? So, and of course my suspicions were up my head.
Did it?
You know, so I was like, you know what, I just don't want to deal. Yes.
Did it hurt you that none of them even showed up?
It did. It did, and it also confirmed that clearly, you know, the guilty are afraid. The guilty are afraid. But the thing that broke my heart more was that her classmates, who were her friends, who were grieving her, were not even allowed to come and bid her farewell. Because what grave thing could I have done? Me, as Mama Ebbie, what could I have done seeing my daughter's friends come to bury their friend? What could I have done? Sent them away? No, I don't think so. So if indeed it's true that those girls were broken and what have you, which I believe they were, because you can't be hated by everybody, neither can you be loved by everybody. I am sure they hurt not being able to actually bid their friend farewell. Unless my child was in a toxic school, that nobody cared about her, which is not true. I don't think so.
Because she would have told you.
Yes. I didn't think that was not fair for my child because she was gone. That was just a body.
Yes.
But for the other girls who slept beside her, maybe even on top of the bunk or on top of her bed,
Even the class
even
teacher.
the same dorm, even the class teacher who I gave a ride on the 15th of February from the school to Etaidhi where she lives, never showed up, had my phone number, never called me. The school matron who I would talk to and ask her how my daughter is doing, never bothered. The senior teacher who had told me to see her when I go for the school meeting, never called me. So clearly, that school leaves a lot to be desired, leaves a lot. It begs the question, why? Why did they even do that? Was it a well-planned thing? Did they really plan on executing my child in that manner? And so their work was done and, you know, because even at death, would you even hate someone at death? That was a hard pill to swallow.
Are you filing any reports? What's the investigation? Almost 3 years down the line.
Oh.
Has anyone given you answers?
You know, it's been going round in circles. The word of God says that you never trust man. Never put your faith in human beings. I thought because I had people who had stepped out to help and investigate and what have you, that I can wait on them. And then it took me the realization shortly after that, no. A lot of these things are probably PR. So please, girl, get up and do something. And at some point, I even considered going on a hunger strike. And I talked to some of my friends. I remember speaking to Boniface Mwangi and told him, man, I just feel terrible. Can I just go outside the president's office and stand right there? My child died in a government public school. She was not in a private institution under the Ministry of Education at the time when Matiang'i was handing over to Magoha. Really? And then after my child had died, an incident happened at Nairobi School. And swiftly, the minister is speaking about commission of inquiry. Aki, surely, does it take you to be a child of a politician or a rich man in this country for things to happen? My child, what's the difference? What is the difference? My child is dead. I pity this parent whose child had been, I think, molested or something and, you know, was not well mentally. But my child died. What worse will happen for this government to swiftly move into action? The Teachers Service Commission, the women rep, Gatanga. For heaven's sake, I thought women fight for other women. Not even the area MP, not the director of education in Gatanga, who said that incident happened, we leave it for the school to... Like, seriously? How do you just dismiss?
A child is dead.
Yes, in a school institution. I don't care what relationships people have or what business dealings people have. But this is a human being who has just departed. Why would you let my child to just be a statistic? Is there a method to actually eradicate so that you can have numbers? Or what is it about? And I was left in a cloud of darkness and I was very disturbed. Very disturbed. My children are questioning me, where is their sister? They cannot talk. My son is closing himself in his room all day long. My little girl who the sister died when she was 2 kept asking me, Mommy, where's my sister? Why is she not coming back from school? When she sees her friends in the compound who have closed school. Is my sister coming back? And you give all sorts of answers and you run out of answers.
And the brother?
The brother closes him. I tried even to take him for therapy with the help of one of the pastors in my church. And he actually told me on the 3rd session, he actually told the therapist, I didn't want to come here. I came because my mom asked me to. he processed that grief differently. He started listening to some music I had never heard of.
Okay.
When you listen to the messages that in that music,
Okay.
it communicates his thoughts. How he dug and got that music, I do not know. But it suddenly surfaced in our house.
How old is he?
He's now 50.
Boy.
Yes. He was 12 then.
And the dad?
Man, where can I begin to speak? That man was broken. Literally broken. He cried for days. He went back to work. And every Friday night, he would be in a bad mood. I would be talking to him on the phone, and sometimes it has skipped my mind a bit, and I'm like, are you okay? He tells me it's Friday night. It's another weekend again. You know, he hated Saturdays.
Oh, no.
Yes. So you can imagine now me, I was left to pray for him, pray for my children. I couldn't deal with myself. Because now I'm covering other people. I don't want to see them break down. I want to uphold them. But I really thank the parents of this country. Wow. Hey, moms prayed for me. Wow. I don't know what I would have done. Lynn, I wouldn't lie to you. I couldn't pray. I used to open my mouth like this. I was extremely angry with God. Extremely. I was done. I was like, you know what? If this is the point you get and you go back and never look, I'm good. I'll live peacefully with myself. But must I God do many let down? I wouldn't. I would open my mouth that someone tells me you pray. And I just start feeling pain in my veins. The anger.
How are you?
I'm good. I can now talk about it. The pain's still there. Now it's almost 3 years. Nothing has, I can't say entirely nothing, because this year at least something has started to show. But that is after I made a step.
What started to show?
At least there was a team that was put together by the DCI to investigate. And they've made several steps, including visiting the school, which I look forward to going to one of these days. Yeah.
And there's a reason we chose to do this interview here, because I understand this is a restaurant.
Yes, it is.
Named after your daughter.
Yes.
Why?
You know, as the years went by, 2019, the entire year, I really fought emotionally and mentally with myself. And then first birthday goes and it hurts properly. And you'll even buy a cake. I remember one of her friends' parents, God bless the Kavudas, they actually sent me a bouquet of fruits and a cake for Ebbie's birthday, on her birthday that year. Man, when that rider knocked on my door and gave me a cake and I checked the card, and I was broken because she was not here to eat that cake. I couldn't eat that cake for days. I just put it in the fridge. My son one day told me, Mommy, you know, if you don't cut this cake, it's gonna go bad. So that Sunday after her birthday, we had it for her breakfast. And that lady has kept her word. She told me we'll never forget Ebbie. We'll never ever forget her. And for sure, Victoria and her family never did. She would send me a card on her birthday. She would send me a message, tell me I have not forgotten. I still remember it's our girl's birthday. You know, at least one person. But in order for me not to forget, because the nature of a human being is that it will go away.
Yeah.
And because I still wanted justice for my child, and I want a constant reminder. And because Ebbie loved good food, she would come with recipes given by her friend, McKenna, and bake cakes and prepare little nice deities, little things. I was like, I just want to be in a space where it's just her. The ambience is her, and everything that goes on around there is just her. And that's why I set up this place.
What do you make here?
Kawaida food. So it's a restaurant. We serve lunch, we serve office lunches, we do office deliveries, home deliveries, and all that stuff. We grill, but our specialty is the Caribbean grills. My daughter was hated in Gatanga CCM for being who she was. They never believed that she was a Jamaican for real. And she was. I don't know, they expected her to look some type of way. Or maybe they didn't think beyond there is intermarriages in this country. And so that has to leave. The way she lived that life of being profiled for being who she was, that Jamaican flavor has to continue here.
Good.
It can't go away.
Good.
It cannot go away.
Good. So people can just eat food in memory of Ebbie.
For me, when I just see someone eating and they're just happy that, man, your food is so good, I'm like, yeah, that's you, baby.
Oh.
Exactly.
God.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's my joy.
Yes.
And by the way, it's people, even people around here, many of them don't know my name. They call me Ebbies. I'm so happy they call me that. They call me and I answer very quickly.
Yes.
Because that's fine.
That's fine.
That is perfectly fine. Yes.
I
don't ever want to forget about my child.
Don't forget, wherever Ebbie is, wherever her soul is resting at, wherever she's looking down on you right now from, what would you want her to know? Dear Ebbie.
Dear Ebbie, I love you. I know you're in heaven. No one can convince me otherwise, because I know you loved God deeply and sincerely. I just want to tell you that we miss you a great deal. Your little sister keeps telling me she wants to go to heaven because she wants to meet you. I know it's a hard thing for me to even tell her yes, but I tell her yes anyway, because I know that when we all get to heaven, we will be able to see you and celebrate together. Yes.
What answers, by the time this episode goes up, what answers are you looking for?
The truth is that I have come to the realization and accepting the peace that bad things happen to good people. And I know that my daughter's death was not in vain. It was supposed to unmask things that happen in our learning institutions that go unanswered. There is a bad culture in this country of burying things under the carpet. People get away with murder. People get away with a lot of evil. And we are setting a bad precedence for the future. If we don't get into the culture of unraveling things and solving issues and bringing people to justice, we are setting ourselves for trouble, because there will come a time when we will not be able to solve anything. We have a pile, a mountain. So what do you start solving? But when we start dealing with issues one by one, not just for my child, but for all other children in school, for those parents who just don't understand, those parents who give their children to go to school and their children come broken, maimed, you can't even fix. That has to change.
And you refuse to believe your daughter just died like
No,
that?
never. That will never happen. Unless God tells me so himself. That is not true.
In your mind, someone did something to her?
Oh yes. There is enough evidence. That evidence is the injuries that she sustained on her brain. No one can harm themselves to that magnitude. You know, it must have been an external force that did it. That external force is what I want to see. And you know, the funny thing, Lynn, is that at some point in my grieving journey, I had come to the acceptance. I was like, you know, if whoever hit my child would even later on look for me and tell me, you know, Mama Ebbie, this happened, but I did not intend for her to die, I would have forgiven. And even just said, you know what, it's all good. Imagine I had come to that point to accept. But being in the dark, somebody and an institution just hell-bent on, we don't know. Jamani. My child never escaped from school, was hit by a stranger out there, then she showed up at the gate. This happened within the confines of the school. How, why, I do not know. But one day I really want to know. And yes, there is so much evil that happens in our boarding institutions. And that's why I said, my child, none of my children will go to a boarding school.
Again.
I don't care.
Yeah.
None of my children here.
Yeah.
My son now goes to a day school. And everyone who dare cares to ask me, ati shule gani mzuri? I don't care what reviews you give. I am staying with my child. Let them go to school and come back home.
Yes.
Let me just be that parent.
Yeah.
Call me mother hen, it is okay. Those chicks are mine. Until they are ready to face the world, I just want to cover them under my wing. Yes.
The people who are watching you, someone might have information they would want to tell you. A lot of people might even want to come. Where are we? We are at Valley Arcade?
Yeah, we are at the Minimal.
Minimal.
Yes, we are at the Minimal in Valley Arcade.
In
so
Valley
behind
Arcade.
The main Valley Arcade Mall that is on Gatanga Road, we are on Mbazi Avenue.
Yes.
There is the Minimal in between Thompson Court and Krishna Apartments, right inside.
There are people who would want to just come in here and have a meal in memory of Ebbie. Some people might even want to order, because then how are we going to remember her?
Yes.
How are we going to remember her?
Yes.
If some people would want to reach out to, even just for a small text, you got this. What would be your contact details and also your parting shot?
I'm on Facebook. My name is Wanjiru Ngai on Facebook. My restaurant Ebbie's is on Instagram.
Good.
It's at Ebbie's.
Yeah.
In Nairobi.
Yes.
Or just Ebbie's.
Yeah.
Here we do Caribbean pork.
Yeah.
The Caribbean flavor. So the jack pork, jack chicken.
Yeah.
Several other foods, kawaida foods, you know, that you eat in your house every day.
And you enjoy.
And you definitely enjoy. They have a kick to it. They have an Ebbie's kick to it, you know. So you can come by. Our phone number is 0732 847770.
Okay.
Yes. I'm on Instagram also as Wanjiru Wangai.
Good.
Wangai is my father's name.
Yes.
But they were Gai.
Of course. Good. And the full names in the phone number?
Martha Wanjiru Samuels.
Good.
Or Martha Wanjiru Wainaina.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hope you find the answers you're looking for.
Yes, definitely.
Genuinely, I hope one day you get to know what happened to your daughter. I hope you find closure.
I would be very relieved.
If you know something, no matter how much inakuwa hidden, if you know something and you feel like, let me open up and let me talk to Mama Ebbie, just say it, you know. And I hope this investigation is taken as serious, because it deserves the seriousness. The contact details to Ebbie's mom right here. Her social media handles are right here. If you want to also share your story, my email is right here. We also get exhausted of covering these stories of who killed my daughter, what happened to my son, who killed my father. We have to find answers. And as I said, I hope you get the answers that you're looking for. Thank you for watching this episode of Tales of Wanjiku. Bye-bye.